And it is a similar scene in Chicago. Violence escalating between protesters and ICE agents here. A woman was shot after she allegedly attempted to hit federal officers with her car. Then in Broadview, Illinois, that's about a half hour west of the city, the Department of Homeland Security is reporting that law enforcement officers were rammed by vehicles and boxed in by 10 cars. That's where we find News Nation's Mills Hayes. Mills, what are you seeing out there today?
Hi, Kelly. Well, there are more protesters that have started to come here to this Broadview ICE facility. We know there's some more activity. Also, where that woman was shot, you mentioned that. Now, we also know that Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker says that President Trump plans to federalize 100 Illinois National Guard troops to help protect ICE personnel and facilities. We expect this crowd here at the Broadview ICE facility to grow throughout the night. Now, meanwhile, DHS is speaking out after a woman was shot by federal law enforcement officers after allegedly trying to ram Border Patrol agents with her car. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem posting on X saying, quote, members of our brave law enforcement were attacked, rammed, and boxed in by 10 vehicles, including an attacker with a semi-automatic weapon, adding that she is deploying more special operations to control the scene. The FBI is investigating, and the woman is in critical condition at the hospital. Protesters responding nearby the incident, angry about ICE activity in the area. One woman saying her son, who is a U.S. citizen, was detained earlier today by immigration officials. All of this happening after Secretary Noem's visit to the Broadview ICE facility, where protests have been intense. She did not take questions from the press. Border Patrol Commander at Large Gregory Bovino leading the arrest outside the facility on Friday. DHS says that 13 quote, rioters were arrested during the standoff, with Illinois State Police joining federal law enforcement officers in trying to keep protesters back. Meanwhile, Operation Midway Blitz enforcement operations continue. This video showing the moments that federal law enforcement deployed tear gas from their SUV in front of a Hispanic grocery store while community activists tried to impede ICE vehicles. A similar situation outside a local hospital where tear gas was deployed while protesters tried to block law enforcement vehicles. Chicago alderperson Jesse Fuentes was briefly put in handcuffs at that hospital after trying to get more information.
Yeah, I recently actually seen that video of the alderperson who just so happens to also live the alphabet community lifestyle. Imagine being convinced that you are under duress when you are literally being saved from yourselves from horrible leadership over in Chicago, and people deciding that they want to protest against illegal migrants coming into the country. This is how stupid it is. This is how stupid it sounds. When I listen to this and I actually see these people, and more importantly, when I actually look back and I realized that I was a part of the Democratic plantation at one point in my life, but I never agreed with what Democrats were doing. But to be fair to myself, I will also tell you that the Democrats of yesteryear preached the exact same message that Republicans are preaching today. Because Democrats weren't so liberal, they actually align with what the same principles are that's being conveyed over by Republicans and conservatives today. They said the same thing. I've played several different videos during the election cycle of Obama and Biden and Nancy Pelosi and all of them saying the same thing, and that if we don't have any borders, if we can't get people to do things legally and deport the people that's not supposed to be here, then we don't have a country. And so imagine that we've gotten so comfortable as people in the United States of America that now you have people trying to convince you that they're under duress when they were never supposed to be here in the first place. And you see all of these people, these white apologists, you see several different people that was blessed to be here and come here into the United States of America, standing around. And now the protests have transitioned from being peaceful, which they never were. You never see any peaceful protests on the Democrat side, to being violent, so violent that a woman has weaponized her car and has rammed into ICE officers and is willing to go to jail for whoever, how long, because we're probably never going to see them again. And imagine a politician, a Democrat that is benefiting off of the crime and the corruption inside of your community. Imagine they put that battery in your back and now you got to go to jail for several, probably several different years. And it's going to cost you an egregious amount of money. And they're not going to save you, nor will they put together a GoFundMe or anything to make sure that you get out of jail. It's unfortunate. But we are watching this in real time, and we are witnessing history, and some people chose to be on the wrong side of it.
About an undocumented man who was injured during an arrest and at the hospital. Protesters saying that there is no need for the National Guard.
We're here today because we don't know what else to do. I mean, what's happening in this country is insane. I heard just this morning, first thing, of a father of a student in my children's school district being kidnapped by ICE and taken.
Kidnapped. That's the word that they're using. Kidnapped. They're not supposed to be here, was never supposed to be here. They brought these people in. They were inside of some of the community's neediest parts and needing to actually have money deployed into that area. But instead, they put it into illegal migrants, and now they've integrated into your schools. And in less than a couple years, you've already endeared yourself to them. And so because they were never supposed to be here, but now you got an emotional attachment to them, now it's kidnapping. Rebecca, respectfully, go home.
I don't know all the details, but this is affecting communities. It's affecting everyone.
And I reached out to Chicago Public Schools that they confirmed to me
Look at these
that
crazy
there
people in the
were
background
federal law
drawing.
enforcement, immigration officers.
She's literally drawing on the ground in the background. Jesus.
Near an elementary school in Logan Square neighborhood just yesterday, and they continue to say that the safest place for students and staff is still at school despite that activity around the school there. Kelly.
All right.
There was never any mobilization for the crime and the killing and the corruption and the gangs and people getting carjacked and all of this stuff, and y'all selling y'all streets and some of the worst things that's happening inside of the community. There was never any mobilization and protesting and advocating for y'all leaders over there in Illinois and Chicago for y'all to get yourself together. But this is where you stake your claim. This is the sword that you want to fall on. Anyways, the Trump administration is also mobilizing, and they're deputizing and deploying 300 National Guard troops to head over into Chicago, and not only that, to mainly protect ICE agents while they do their job, because ICE agents up to this point have removed dozens of guns and arrested over 1,000 illegal migrants that the Biden administration advocated to be here.
Just this last hour, we're learning the president plans to federalize the Illinois National Guard. What can you tell us about this?
Yeah, Alex, we have not heard from the White House yet about this. I did reach out, but we did hear from the governor of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker, who posted a statement in part, if I can read it to you, saying, quote, this morning, the Trump administration's Department of War, of course, he's referring to the Defense Department, gave me an ultimatum, call up your troops or we will. It is absolutely outrageous and un-American to demand a governor send military troops within our own borders and against our will. Pritzker went on to say in the coming hours, the Trump administration intends to federalize 300 members of the Illinois National Guard. This is something the president has forecasted since at least early September that he wants to do, sending troops, federalizing the National Guard and sending them to Chicago, whether the Democratic governor there likes it or not. The president doing the same in other cities. Of course, here in Washington, D.C., we still see a presence of National Guard troops around the city. The president saying the crime is low now because of it. Of course, the mayor here had somewhat welcomed that development in Memphis last week. We saw federal agents from the DEA, the ATF, the FBI go down into that city to try and help crime there. The Republican governor of that state accepting it, as are some residents. But in this case, in Chicago, in Illinois, you have the governor there saying, we've got this under control. We don't need your help. And the president seemingly going around that. But again, we asked the White House to confirm this. We don't have it confirmed yet from their end. But according to Pritzker, that is the conversation that took place between the Pentagon and his office this morning, Alex.
I will keep you guys in a loop as to what's going on. So while Memphis goes and cleans up their streets, Chicago is still rejecting, and the Illinois governor is empowering the trash geography teacher that y'all call a mayor over there in Chicago to continue to keep y'all neighborhoods under duress. That's the real racism. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I'll keep y'all in the loop.